Well, hello everybody. Yeah, I'm in front of the camera. This is a different type of video. So, I decided that based on what we're doing here, and I'll explain what we're doing, that I would at least get in front of the camera for a few of the questions anyway. And what we're doing is what we call a Tarantula Tag, and that is going to be done throughout the Tarantula YouTube community. So what happens is Kat from Tarantula Cat started things off with basically 9 questions, and then that 10th question she tagged me and asked me a specific question about the hobby and me. So I will answer the same 9 questions that she did, answer her question, and then I'm going to tag the next person and then give them a specific question on something I want to know about them and their hobby. So that's kind of what we're doing. And you'll be able to, in the description, there'll be a link, and that link will be able to get you to any of the clips from any of the people that do this from now until when we finish doing it, whenever that may be. We have Tarantula Dan's going to do it, Tom Moran's going to do it, Dave Scott, Trey Beck, well, there's a whole bunch of them. I really honestly can't remember all of them, but we did start that little Facebook community specifically for people that do Tarantula YouTube videos. Jeepers Creepers, things are going to pop into my head. Moss, Andrew's Tarantulas. We're trying to get a hold of Mark's Tarantulas, KC Tarantulas. There's a bunch of us that are going to do this. And what my plan for it was to try and get 2 of these done a week. And over the course of a year, that would be 104 channels. Of course, we lost January, so we would be down to 90, we'll say 90 different channels that'll all be linked in one little link in the description of everybody's videos for this. And we will all answer the same 9 questions, or some of them aren't questions, some of them are actually actions. So without further ado, the first question that we have is, what got you interested in tarantulas? Well, for me, my twins, which are now going to be 17 years old, when they were little, probably in the 2-year-old range, I want to say. I'm trying to do the math in my head here. 14 years ago. Yeah, about 2.5, 3 years old. Alex, who's our next oldest, is 3 years older than him, so he was in the 5 to 6-year-old range. We wanted to get him a little fuzzy pet. So we decided to get him a hamster. And I'm pretty sure, I may not be recollecting this the right way, but I know where we went, which was Buzz and Bees. And that is a reptile, not reptile, but it's a pet store. They have tons of fish. I mean, tons and tons of fish. And they do sell reptiles, birds, mammals and everything else. Well, we ended up getting him a small little, I think what they call him is a teddy bear hamster. Real fuzzy, real cute, nice little thing. Very, very docile. And while we were there, my wife fell in love with this rabbit, so we ended up with a rabbit, and I was like, well, I want something too. And I wanted something different, and they had a tarantula, a rose-haired tarantula, which now that I know is a Grammostola porteri. So I had that little guy for 11 years. I'm not really quite sure. I'm pretty sure it was a male, but I didn't keep the molt, and it never really got all that big. It only was about 3 inches, 3.5 inches, but I had it for 11 years before it died. So that's really what got me into tarantulas. And then when that one died, just so happens where I work, we have another sister plant in Monterrey, Mexico. And we send wheels to them, and then they send back the skids to us. And contained in one of those skids was a tarantula somebody found. And it happened to be on the shift I was working, and it was a good friend of mine. And I went up there to look at it, and I was telling him the story about how I had one for 11 years. It just died like a month and a half ago. And he says, well, why don't you take it home? So, long story short, my Fauna Palmahense Monterey, that's the one that really got me back into all this and got me to where I'm at now. I'm sure my wife wishes that never happened, because we have way more than what I need. So, to answer question number 2, which was the first tarantula, that kind of tied everything back in. So it would have been that Grammostola porteri that I got 14 years ago. Question number 3 is my favorite species. And this is a very, very tough question to answer, because there's so many of them out there that I love. The Grammostola pulchras, the Brachypelma humoris, the Chromatopelma cyaneo pubescens, all of these different spiders over the course of me getting into it is what really drew me in. But the one spider that really got me in was a Salmopace pulcher. And that one for eternity will be my favorite species of tarantula, period. No questions asked. Not question number 4 now is my dream tarantula. And that's, again, that changes quite often. You know, it went from a different Dolichothelli or not diamentinensis, but the Dolichothelli boliviana was one that I wanted for a long time. I just can't seem to locate any of them. But recently, I think that, you know, looking at some of the spiders that are going on and some of the stuff that's in the trade, I think the spider that I would like to get the most is the Cerocopelma stanacanalina. That spider itself, it's a decent size, you know, and I have the Cerocopelma rubronitans, so I just like the way it looks, and I know a couple of people that have them, and they love them to death, so that would probably be my number 1, and the Pamphobedia salarius would probably be my number 2. How many do I have? Well, the last time I looked on my sheet, there was 117, but I have 2 communals, and the one communal is not separated, so it would actually be 120 is the total of what I have. I'm going to skip a couple questions so I can do all the no, maybe not. Yes, I'm gonna skip the questions. The next one would be meet one of the tarantulas and feed one of the tarantulas. So I'm going to go to question number 8, and what's my favorite channel? And again, this is a very tough question to answer because I love so many of them. I love watching Mark's Tarantulas for his theatrics. I think he puts on some great videos. Everybody loves the Dark Den. He's a very great character. He just makes watching his videos fun. Marilyn Moore is another one. I'm always in a good mood after watching her videos. Dave Scott's really kind of what got me into all this, and Tom Moran's another one. But I think my favorite channel overall, if I had to sit down and watch something, it would probably be Trey Beck, Reptile Junkie. I love the way he's so excited all the time. He's always happy. You never see him in a bad mood. And him and April play off each other so well. They explain things so well, and they're real. That's what I like. I like when people are real. I don't like when people try to be something that they're not. And they're 2 of the most real people that I know. All the people I mentioned before are also that way. But I just love watching his stuff, even though the majority of his stuff is reptile stuff. And you guys need to start doing more tarantula videos. They're definitely my favorite channel. I just love watching them. So question number 9 is going to be the other exotic pets that I have in my collection. We have a common snapping turtle. You guys seen that in the video. I have 2 leopard geckos that never come out. They hide all the time. We have 4 Asian forest scorpions. I have 1 Florida bark scorpion, or Centrudes gracilis. I'm not sure what all the species are of the Asian forest scorpions. They're just heterometra species. I know 2 of them are Cyaneus. I think the other ones could be who knows what. They're all living together perfectly fine. Actually, the big one and the smallest one actually hang out together a lot. And then I have also a Opisthothalamus Wahlbergi, or the tricolored burrowing scorpion. I have 1 praying mantis left, but I don't think that one's going to live much longer. I also have a tailless whip scorpion. We have the Pac-Man frog, and we have the eastern red dotted newt, I think is what this little guy is over here. I think that's really it. I mean, we have 2 cats and 1 dog. My daughter's got a Russian tortoise, and she also has 2 Dumbo rats. Other than that, I think that's it. So now I'm going to introduce you to one of my tarantulas, and I'm going to feed one of my tarantulas, and then we'll end the video back here with me tagging who I want to do the next part of this video and asking that question, and also answering the question that Kat asked of me. Okay, so here is the meet and greet part of our 10 question video, or 10 question tarantula tag. This is my Brachypelma bowie. Now, the reason I chose this tarantula is this was a trade. I got this guy last year in a trade. I don't remember what exactly the whole entire trade detail was, but I know it came from the West Coast. I want to say it was Adam Erickson is the one that traded me this spider. I'm pretty sure, but I can't really remember. Anyway, the reason I chose this guy or girl is because I never gave it a name. I had a name and I particularly didn't care for it, so I deleted it out of my Tarantula app. So what I'd like to do is I'd like for anybody that's watching this video to comment down below what they think we should name this tarantula. Now, mind you, I don't know if it's a male or a female. It was a suspected male in the trade, but he wasn't 100% positive. Matter of fact, he was only not even 50% positive that this was a male or a female. So let's try and name this one. Hopefully by the end of the weekend we'll have enough comments down below that we'll have a decent name. Because of course it's from Mexico, some type of Mexican name would be cool, but please try and make it gender neutral. I don't want to name him Jose and then it end up being a girl and have to change it to Josie or something like that. So that's this guy. Stay tuned now for the we're gonna feed one tarantula. Hopefully the little bugger will eat, and then we'll do the rest of the video at the end, the last few questions that need to be answered. So for the feeding part of this video, my microphone on the ground, is this is Milligro. This is the Brachypelma hamori. This will be a second attempt at feeding post molt. Hopefully it'll eat, and this will get it over that where I like to get them a little bit fed quicker after molt. So I usually try to do 2 feedings in the first 10 days after the first feeding. So if he molts and I wait 10 days and I feed and I want to feed again in the next 10 days. Bigger spiders, I'll use worms. This guy I'm just going to throw a cricket in there and see if he's interested, and odds are he probably won't be, just because I'll probably have to try and do this 10 times to figure out which one's actually going to eat for me. There we go. That only took 1 minute 10 seconds. So there you are, the feeding part of the Tarantula Tag 10 questions. Stay tuned for the answering of Kat's question and the asking of who I'm going to tag for the next video. Okay, so I hope you guys, again, I hope you guys enjoyed everything up to this point. I hope you guys are going to like this. The whole idea of this group actually started with Exotics Lair and Moss. Those two were kicking it around, and I got to talking to Exotics Lair about some different things, trying to figure out what kind of substrate he can use as a deterrent to mold because of where he's from. It's very hot and very humid there, and he has some serious mold issues. So we got to chatting, and we started talking about this, and I was like, oh, it's a great idea. And before you know it, that night we had this group now, and it's growing every day. We're getting new people in that are tarantula YouTube presenters, I guess you can call us. I don't really know. Again, I hope that this is something that you guys enjoy. And again, that link in the description should be able to take you to any videos prior to, which would only be one that's prior to mine, and any of them that'll come up in the future. So if you're watching this video 5 months from now, you can click on that and you could be able to see everybody that's involved with this. So to answer your question, Kat, and I hope that you're happy I'm on camera, by the way. I did this specifically to surprise you, and Dave Scott and I talked about it. I know everyone wanted to see me in front of the camera. I'm not real happy about this, but I'm doing it. So your question was, what is my favorite Brachypelma species? And the answer to that question is Brachypelma amelia. It has always been my favorite Brachypelma. It took me, I think it was the 3rd or 4th, because I got an albopilosum, a hamori, a vagans. I think the 4th Brachypelma that I got was an amelia. And that was one that I wanted from the beginning, but when I first ordered them, nobody had them, or at least where I got mine from, nobody had them at that. She didn't have them at that point. So that's my favorite Brachypelma. Curious if you even thought that would be the one that I would list. So now I'm going to tag one of my good friends, somebody that I bounced so much so many questions off in the beginning. How to use Viva Video. Was always willing and eager to answer my questions about doing the videos, and gave me a few pointers, and that's Dave Scott. He's from Canada. I'm not sure exactly where in Canada. I want to say Ontario, but that could be wrong. Again, he's got a great following. He does good videos. He's such a nice person, and he's real and genuine. And that, to me, for someone to take the time out that he does, if you subscribe to his channel, he subscribes right back to your channel, and he will comment, he will watch your videos. That's what's so nice about Dave. And, you know, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't actually be doing this, because he was the one that kind of encouraged me. Marilyn Moore pushed a little bit to get me to talk, because of the first handful of videos I didn't talk at all. And that was just getting over that fear of being in front of the camera, because I am a very introverted person. This is why I don't get in front of the camera. But now that I'm actually in front of the camera, and I can do it this way with the backdrop here, it's not so bad. So you may see a little bit more of me. Not a bunch, but maybe a little bit more. Okay, so my question for you, Dave, is if you look at your collection right now, and you could go back in time and say, or let me rephrase that. You go back in time, what would be the one tarantula that you probably wouldn't get that you have in your collection? It could be anything that you own, and what is the reason why you would probably not buy that specific tarantula again? Genus and species, please. A common name if you want to throw it in there. I'm just curious to know if there's, because I know there's a handful that I probably never would got again, and not that I regret getting them, but I kind of regret getting them. So let me know what that is, and then Dave will answer these 10 questions and do the meeting of one of his tarantulas, and then feeding of one of his tarantulas as well, and then he will tag the next person that he wants to do the video after him. So again, thanks again, everybody. I hope that this is going to be something that you all enjoy. I know a lot of the people that are in the group are really excited to do this. They're chomping at the bit to get to their turn. It was a kind of a Cat came up with these questions. We were kicking around the whole idea of how to do this, and Cat came up with this idea. We kind of just honed it a little bit, and here we are. So I think we'll try to do this like every year. We'll try to go through and do video like this where we're tagging another person, and look for a lot more collaborations throughout the year now that we're all together and we're actually talking. Look for some collaborations that way. And Tom Moran, if you're watching, I'm in front of the camera, so I'm ready to do that collaboration whenever you are. So again, thanks everybody. Thanks for supporting everybody, and have a spectacular day.